The crisis rocking the Benue State chapter of the All Progressives Congress seems to be deepening with the suspension of the state chairman, Austin Agada, and ward-by-ward executives in Ogbadibo local government area of the state. Now, amongst other things, the ward leaders accused Agada of anti-party activities. Incidentally, our next guest here on Newsday is a former APC senatorial candidate for Benue South, Daniel Onjeh. In a petition he sent to APC National Chairman Senator Abdullahi Ganduje, had also accused Agada of anti-party activities. He joins us now. Good afternoon and welcome to Newsday.
Good afternoon. Thank you for having me here today.
Well, just like the intro said, there were quite a few accusations leveled against him. Could you tell us more about your 13-page petition, the evidence you found, and how you feel now that he has been suspended?
Well, in my petition, which is actually gone out because the media has a way of fishing out information, I outline areas where the state party chairman, embarked on anti-party activities. Chiefly amongst them was the payment he made into the account of my opponent, the senatorial candidate of PDP, now a senator of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Senator Abamoru, on the 5th of December 2022, same day that I made very frantic effort to pay for the enlistment of our party agent to the state secretariat. I transferred the money through the account of the organizing secretary of the party at state level, Mr. James Onguga, so that my agents for the elections can be enlisted. On the same day, my party chairman was busy sabotaging my election by transferring 5 million into the account of Senator Abamoru. And on the 8th of December, he did the same thing, transferred the sum of 4 million into the account of my opponent, Senator Abamoru, on the 8th of December 2022. This was at the heat of the campaign. We have heard about several other anti-party activities that he embarked on. Some we knew directly, but in the interest of the unity of the party, we maintain our calm just so that we pass through the election. One of such acts was when he ran to the deputy governor, the governorship candidate of APC, Dr. Sam Ode MNI, now currently the deputy governor. He ran to his house in Abuja here after I clinched the ticket of the party to run and pleaded with him to join him in working for the candidates of the PDP in that election. The deputy governor picked his phone and he was practically shivering in his voice when he communicated the information to me, to tell me that he couldn't believe that the state party chairman can come to him to solicit his support to work against his party's candidate. I tried to raise an internal memo within the party in Benue State, just not to embarrass the party, to save the party from what is happening currently. And I did a memo to the leader of the party, which is Dr. Senator George Akume, the current SGF. I did a memo to him, but sent an advance copy to the deputy governor because the deputy governor was copied, the governor was copied. In that memo, I made it clear that there were impeccable evidence against the state chairman that he was engaging on anti-party activities against my elections and is planning to sabotage my election. I pleaded with the leadership of the party not to allow the resources of the elections get into the hands of the state party chairman, and also not to allow him tamper with the agent list. But as soon as my memo got into the hands of the deputy governor, he pleaded with me and asked that I exercised restraint because of the elections we had ahead, as that could affect the unity of the party and deepen the crisis that will affect our elections.
Now,
On
Mr.
that
Onjeh,
note, he promised me that he was going to take it up with the leadership of the party, which I believe because of the activities of the election, he either completely forgot or did not remember to do. So
Okay,
I
so
took
please
several
allow me to
other
interrupt
measures
you very
by
briefly.
writing.
You've talked about, some payments been made. I don't know if you have evidence, of these payments been made. Do you have receipts, to back up your claims? Then that's the first part of my question. The second part is, according to a chieftain of your party, that's a Martinez Yotsumen, you have a habit, of throwing blames after losing elections. He has chronicled the losses you've suffered since 2015 when you were with the AACN, when Austin Agada clearly could not be blamed. And he believes you're being delusional by not acknowledging the fact that you do not have the clout to actually win elections. I would just like you to respond to this too.
Well, that is totally laughable. I was the APC senatorial candidate in the 2015 election. I contested against a sitting Senate President, Senator David Mack, and that election led to a rerun election. And for the first time that PDP had held sway in Benue South since the inception of democracy in 1999, the former Senate President was returned home to at least wait for another 8 to 9 months before we went into that rerun election. So Senator Abomoru was clearly a walkover for me, but for these anti-party activities. And we caught them red-handed. The Constitution has a place for those who commit the offense of anti-party. You asked if I have the receipts of payment. Yes, I do. I have. He made payment to a particular lady, and also on the same day, on the 5th of December, the same time that the transfer, within the same period the transfer was made, he issued directive to the lady. The first payment was done on the 5th of December 2022 into Senator Abamoru's Fidelity Bank account, which was 5 million. And then the second payment also, he sent directive to the same lady, giving a different bank account, which was GTB bank account of Senator Abamoru, and another 4 million was paid. And that is an impeccable and incontrovertible evidence that we have there. The basic or primary objective of establishing political party from the very first course in political science, whether poll 100, what you are taught is that political parties are established solely with the objective to capture power. And that is why the constitution of the party made no mistake in Article 21 of the Constitution. Article 21.2, offenses against the party shall include the following. 1, a breach of any provision of this Constitution. 2, anti-party activities or any conduct which is likely to embarrass or have adverse effects on the party or bring the party into hatred. It will interest you to know that this chairman, who is not willing to take the responsibility for sabotaging my election, lost the presidential election in his polling unit of Igado at Okpa Ehaje Ward 1. He lost the senatorial election in his polling unit. He lost the House of Rep election in his polling unit. Then what moral rectitude does he have to talk about, to charge other people in winning elections? Yet he goes about trying to take credit for other people's effort in their respective polling units to have delivered and also delivered our candidates, the governorship, and some other members to win the election. You will wonder why in a senatorial district with 4 House of Rep seats, APC won 3 out of the 4, yet lost the senatorial seat. It is unheard of. It is unprecedented. It was because of the sabotage. Because aside from paying monies into the account of my opponent, which I have the evidence, I presented the evidence before the National Secretariat of the party. I wrote to the National Working committee of the party, and I through the chairman in person of Ganduje. And I hope they will do justice to it. And another area where he sabotaged my election, in my rerun election with David Mark, I had agents that I trained, and they were properly trained to safeguard the results of my election. It is important for people to know that on the day of election, the most important element of that election are your agents. No matter the level of support you have, if you don't have loyal agents that can compromise it, I dare anyone today to get the list of the agents the party fielded in my election, in the last election. They should go and check it and match it with the party registration card. You would discover that most of the names that were used for my election were not APC members. They were brought in, people that were nominated by even from the camp of the Senator Abamoru. What they did to my results, I won in so many places. The facts records are with INEC. I also dare anybody to go and ask for certified true copies of the ballot papers that were used for the Benue South election. In places where, for instance, I had 186 votes and Senator Abamoru has 12 or 13, they swapped my votes at will because the agents were not loyal to the party and they were drafted to do that. It's the same Austin Agada who provided the list of all the 102 ward coalition agents in my election, whereas the organizing secretary of the party who went for a retreat of the party in Imo, upon return, contacted me to say that they were directed to collect the list of agents for that election from the senatorial candidate.
Well,
I
Mr.
submitted
Onjeh,
the list of my agent. I also have record. I have record of payments that I did into the account of James Onguga, the organizing secretary, on the 5th of December 2022 for the enlistment of my agents.
Very well said, Mr. Onjeh. It seems that you have exhausted the avenues in collecting evidence and presenting your case quite thoroughly. So well done on that. But moving forward, as it is now, the Austin Agada has been suspended. He has been suspended. And we're wondering what it will take to bring about peace and keep things moving within your party. We know that the off-cycle elections are happening on Saturday. How will you move forward in peace in order for the party to present itself as a unified front for this next election cycle?
Well, we want peace, but the peace which we advocate or yearn for is not peace of the graveyard. Justice must be enthroned and entrenched in our party. So it doesn't matter. It's not going to affect our elections in any way. After all, where he participated in the election in his very council ward and his polling unit, he lost all the elections at the February 25th election. So I do not see what influence he has to cover an election that is happening far away in Guma local government or Benue State. So it is not going to affect us in any way. The word was, his word was copied my petition, which was dated 22nd, and I served them on the 23rd. So they've taken their action. Their action is completely different from my own line of action. They were copied, and because most of the issues that were raised are issues they are familiar with, a lot of them came out to testify that indeed before my election, he addressed lots of party faithfuls, urging them to work for my opponent, Senator Abamoru. And that dampened their spirit, and some of the people, some of the party loyalists who are susceptible to anti-party also capitalized on that and embarked on anti-party activities against me. It will also interest you to know that the Labour candidate was in PDP. He ran election against Senator Abamoru in the primaries. When he lost, the same party chairman we're talking about, Austin Agada, persuaded the Labour Party candidate, Joseph Ojobo, to pick the ticket from Labour, just so that he can divide my vote against Senator Abamoru. The Labour candidates got 40,000 votes in that election. Even though they rigged me, they suppressed my result, they swapped my result using their agents, the compromised agent. I still got 60,000 votes. 20,000 clear votes ahead of the Labour candidate. Anybody who consensuously voted for Joseph Ojobo of the Labour Party voted against Senator Abba Moru. Anybody who voted for me voted against Senator Abba Moru. Even with their rigging, we still would approve through. Even as it is right now, INEC frustrated us. The court itself delayed in giving us granting us order to inspect the ballot papers, but the court still granted eventually. When we got to INEC, they delayed us until we have filed our processes, but even though we had a window to file, we made that effort. What we would discover from the ballot paper was that I won the election with over 30,000. The records are there. This is live television. Anybody can apply for certified true copies. You have access to it to INEC. Tell INEC, Makodi, to give you the ballot papers that were used for that election. I won it clearly. I have suffered for the party. I built the party in Benue South. I started from ACN. All the legacy parties of APC, I participated in the process. At the time registration started with ACN in Benue South, we were only 3 known personalities in the party. Chief Ado Ogbe, former Minister of Agriculture. Then Abayaru, the then party chairman. I paid for the registration of every member that registered in Benue South. We have Labour Soha, this same party chairman who couldn't stomach defeat when he ran for State House of Assembly. He crossed over when he lost in APC. He crossed over to Accord Party to go and contest. He lost woefully in that place here. And by the contest he made, he also reduced the chances of our candidates winning.
Allow me to interrupt you, very briefly. I can feel your pain. Obviously you feel very pained about all these allegations that you have made. But we know that the leadership of the APC, have overruled the suspension, of Agada. So I'm wondering, what other options are you willing to explore in case the national leadership does not favor your petition?
Well, let's get this clearly. The petition, they are saying, the suspension they are saying they set aside is the decision of his council ward, not on my petition. My petition is still alive and active. But just to make this point very, very clear, the National Working Committee of APC lacks the power to act in the manners they did. Their action on Travis. The National Publicity Secretary did not explain to us when disciplinary committee was established, who brought complaint to them. What he just said in the document was that they heard about the suspension of the Benue State Party chairman in the media. It means nobody complained to them. The Constitution says that there are procedures for discipline. They say the disciplinary procedure. A complaint by any member of the party against a public office holder, elected or appointed, or any member or against a party organ or officer of the party shall be submitted to the executive committee of that party at all levels concerned, which shall not later than 7 days of the receipt of the complaint appoint a fact-finding or disciplinary committee. This point will interest you also. The executive committee concerned shall not debate. The executive committee concerned shall not debate or discuss the complaint or allegation before sending it to the fact-finding committee. We shall hear, determine, and cause its decision to be transmitted to the relevant executive committee of the party. So the decision they are taking is wrong, totally wrong, is null and void. We all belong to the same party. We have equal stake. What confers authority on people occupying position that we respect them is the Constitution. They must respect that Constitution. The APC has Constitution. If it was that easy, when the Ward 10 of Oshomole, Adams Oshomole, former APC chairman, suspended him, the same principle will have been applied to set aside the suspension of Oshomole. Don't forget that Senator Oshomole, His Excellency, was the sitting party chairman at national level. So he could have caused that action so that they can set his suspension aside. But because he's a genuine and true Democrat, he knew the implications of that the power to register a member of the party and the power to suspend or dismiss a member of the party lies in his word. He knew that his word has taken decision. His next line of action was to approach the court. Even when he went to the court of first instance ruled against him and still upheld the decision of the ward escorts. Even when he went to court of appeal, the court of appeal ruled against him and still upheld the decision of the ward escort. What did the court say? The court said, after all, the ward escorts that took the decision are not in contention. In this case, the people that took the decision, all their signatories were captured. Aside from those who addressed the press conference after taking the decision, the ward chairman was there, the ward secretary was there, and all other officials of the ward. So the suspension of Austin Agada, the APC chairman, is binding until set aside through the appropriate organs of the party. The law is clear and trite about it. All you need to do is to go to section 21.2, which talked about offenses, and go to 21.3, which also talks about disciplinary procedure. If you want to go further, you can go into appeals, 21.4, which talks about appeal. So nobody has appeal, and usually before the National Secretariat convene meeting of the National Working Committee, the issue circular. It is usually made public. How can a chairman be suspended yesterday and the National Secretariat will want Nigerians to believe that immediately they constituted a disciplinary panel? They have within 7 days to send the complaint to a disciplinary or fact-finding committee. And the law in the APC constitution says that the National Working Committee shall not deliberate it before sending to the disciplinary committee.
Once again,
so when did they deliberate?
Interrupt you.
When did they deliberate and came out with the resolution?
Time.
So that is null and void.
Mr. Onjeh, if you can hear me, thank you so much for joining us today. You came prepared. You had exhaustive evidence, and you've left us with a lot to unpack. Thank you for joining us, Daniel Onjeh, the APC Senatorial candidate for Benue South.